Do we have Harold yet?
I don't see him on the list. I know they're working on it.
We'll give him another minute or so here.
Ricky, you might want to mute yourself. Thank you.
Tracy, is Ashley sitting in on the meeting tonight as well?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Then we'll get a test for.
Well, Tracy's clerking tonight.
Okay.
Be nice, they both came back for week 2, so. I was so happy when I pulled into the parking spot yesterday and they were here.
Does anybody else have a statement across the screen that says your connection is unstable?
Mm-mm.
No. I think I just saw Harold's name flash up. Is he with us now?
Yes, well, we have video.
There he is.
Okay.
Here, you might have to stop the video and just keep the sound on if you start losing your connection.
Okay,
That'd be the way to go.
thank you.
Okay. Now that we have Harold, we'll get started. And we'll call to order this meeting of the Winter City Council on Tuesday, November 17th at 6:31 p.m. And we'll start with roll call, please. Tracy.
Councilmember Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Lauren,
Here.
Councilmember New,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi,
Here.
Mayor Cowan.
Here. Okay, next we'll try the Pledge of Allegiance. Jesse, would you like to lead us?
Sure. Put your hand over your heart. Please begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right then. Can't wait for Zoom to be over when it comes to the pledge. That's for sure. Okay, once again, we're conducting this meeting via Zoom due to the governor's orders and restrictions for COVID. And with that, all votes will be roll call votes. And if you're in the public and you want to speak for a particular item, you can use the raise your hand icon or just wave around and we'll try to make sure we call on you. All right, next we'll have the approval of the agenda. I believe there's one change to the agenda. I believe we're dropping discussion item number 1. Is
Yes,
there anything else, Kathleen?
no, there are no further changes, thank you.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Laura seconds.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember New and a second by Councilmember Lauren. Tracy will do a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anderson,
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren,
Aye.
Councilmember New,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi,
Aye.
Mayor Cowan.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. All right, now we'll move on to council and staff comments. Councilmember Lauren.
I know you guys missed my comments at the last meeting, so I'm just kidding. On Monday, November 16th, I met with City Manager Treppa to review tonight's agenda. Also attended a Water Resource Association meeting and heard a presentation on the multi-million-dollar Cache Creek restoration project, hard to say, followed by a YSGA, and for those of you who don't like acronyms, that's YOLO Sustainable Groundwater Association. That's the group tasked with alignment with the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. We had a report on state water legislation, amongst other subjects, and it looks like changes in the regulation of Chromium 6 are not forthcoming in the immediate future, and that is a huge weight off the city of Wayner's not to have to worry about that. They have other emerging needs in California. DWR has earmarked $487 million for flood protection projects in our region, and that includes that Cache Creek project. So a lot happening in our area. I was also able to sit in on the Pewter Creek Committee meeting in Osborne Farm. Bill, you're lucky you have that meeting. Last Friday the 13th, I attended the Valley Clean Energy public Zoom meeting, and I'm hoping a link to the recorded meeting will be available soon. On November 12th, along with Mayor Cowan, I attended the VCE board meeting. I hope he reports more on that. On Monday, November 9th, I attended and presided over the Sac Valley Board of Directors meeting from the region. In the evening, I chaired the Yolo County Transportation District meeting. We were wrestling with long-term schedules and planning of routes during COVID. On October 31st through November 3rd, I worked the Voting Assistance Center, Town Polling Center with a dedicated group of poll workers. We worked the whole time from setup to breakdown on all 4 days. And I just wanted to give a shout out to some big contributors in the community. First, shout out to city staff. It was a pleasure to be inside the newly painted community center. It's beautiful. Eric Lucero's team helped us with small problems that we came across, one with lighting, and made sure that with daylight savings time that we were able to have it well lit at night as the voting went on until 8 p.m. Diana Tafoya did a great job with master scheduling. I'd also like to give a shout out to Tina Loudon for making sure we had a cooler full of water and sodas the whole time. Tina brought us Subway on Saturday. Shout out to Chuck from Pizza Factory for providing pizza on Sunday. Anne-Marie from Pewter Creek Cafe brought us food both Monday and Tuesday. And Richard from Starbucks brought us coffee each morning, around 6:30 some mornings and 7:30 others. Those were really long hours, and the support from the community really helped us have a successful election. Wayner's had an enormous amount of volunteers for our small town. We really dominated in our volunteers for all of Yolo County, so woohoo! Thank you, Wayner's.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Anderson.
Mayor, let's see, yesterday, on the 16th, I had a Zoom meeting with City Manager Kathleen Trippa, reviewing tonight's agenda. Monday, November 9th, attended a Zoom meeting at the Air Quality District of the Air Quality District, and that was a meeting of the YOLO Clean Air Funds Committee. The committee's meeting went on to was continued over to the Air District Board meeting, which would be held, the board meeting, not the committee meeting, will be held on Wednesday, December 9th. And finish up on the air funds. And on Thursday, November 12th, I attended a Zoom meeting of the LPCCC for Pewter Creek Coordinating Committee. And that's it.
Hey, thank you. Councilmember Nair.
Thank you. On the 12th of November, I met with our new city manager, And we just touched bases as to what I was concerned about and what she's concerned about and how things were going after she'd been here for a full 3 days, or 4 days, I guess. And then on the 16th, I attended the YOLO Habitat meeting by Zoom, and we discussed calendar and some changes in how we held our meetings as far as advisory staff. We're going to have a new advisory staff, or at least new members on the advisory staff, and we will be getting information from YOLO Habitat as to how to select a new representative from the city of Winters other than me. And so that's for the advisory staff of the board. And then this morning, I had a Zoom meeting again with Angela and Fred. And so we went over the budget, here the agenda. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Biazi.
Thank you, Mayor. On November 10th, I met with the mayor, city manager, Chris Turkovich, Chief Miller, Chief Lopez, as well as a few other business owners downtown on Main Street to look at the possibilities of the layout for the tables and the outdoor dining setup. Also on November 10th, that evening, I attended the Planning Commission meeting. On November 12th, I sat in on the Zoom meeting for the Solano Economic Development Corporation. They have a lot of things going on over there. They recently announced the formation of what they call it, the California Biomanufacturing Center, which is anticipated to bring about 10,000 jobs to the area. So I'm hoping that we can touch bases with them and be a part of that somehow, and maybe get some spin-offs in some of those jobs in our area. On the 12th, I met with the city manager as well to go over just some priorities that I have for our future. On the 13th in the morning, I attended the chamber board meeting. I also, right after the chamber board meeting, I met with the chamber executive director to talk about a couple of projects she's trying to put together. And then I also met with Chris Turkovich downtown, looking at the layout again for the options of the outdoor dining. On the 16th, I had the agenda review with the city manager, and the evening of the 16th, I attended the Winters Peter Creek Park Committee meeting, as Jesse mentioned. One of the things that the council approved at a meeting about a month ago was the formation of the ad hoc committee. So Councilmember New and myself will be the council representatives, and they selected Kate Laddish and Eric Larson as their two representatives. So we'll set up a meeting with them to look at if we can come up with some future direction for that committee and bring it back to council when that's done. There's also something that was brought to our attention, was on that agenda, which I wasn't aware of, and that's the fact about PG&E potentially putting a gas line underground underneath the creek channel between the Car Bridge and the Trestle Bridge. So I know we're looking into that more because I wasn't not aware of it when it was brought up at the meeting. So it's something that I'm sure we'll be hearing more about in our near future. I think Kathleen is going to look into some of that. So that's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. All right, on the 5th, I had a Zoom meeting for the Homelessness Commission. And on the 10th, I met with the new city manager and Shelley to review a couple of items. And then on the 12th, I was also on the Zoom meeting for BCE, which I will mention. BC board has signed a new power purchase agreement with a group led by Dan Martinez from here in Winters. It's going to be providing, I believe it is a 3 megawatt solar electrical supply that will go into our grid. It ties in nicely that he's going to be able to get that up and running during the same time frame as Winters is becoming members of BCE, and people can opt in or opt out of getting their energy through BCE. So it's nice to have some of that power coming from just outside of city limits. And then also on the same day, right after the BCE Zoom, I had one with the Winters Senior Commission. And then I also had a call with Kathleen yesterday to review tonight's agenda. And then I also met yesterday with Sue from the chamber to go over some of her ideas. And then as mentioned, I participated in a meeting downtown as a mayor pro tem mentioned. Thank you everybody for all your work on the committees and managing to make all these Zoom meetings. It's greatly appreciated. And with that, we're going to move on to our public comment time, which is where anybody from the public that would like to comment on an item that is not on tonight's agenda, now would be the time to address the council. And Tracy, do we have any hands up? Or I see one hand up. I think it says Rick.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rick.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and welcome Ms. Treppa to the City of Winters, a wonderful city. I am Rick Von Gelder, and I reside at 956 Ireland Street in the Winters Ranch Development. And I want to speak tonight about what is to me an ongoing problem, and that is construction noise that seems to occur quite frequently outside of what are permitted hours, either by the construction noise ordinance 8.20, 0.070, or what the authorizing, see what that was just called, the authorization for the developers to actually do the development. Now, presently, the Winters City Code provides for 144 hours weekly where construction can be conducted, and it seems it's been conducted starting, closer to the 6 o'clock hour and not 7 a.m., occurring on Saturdays, occurring on Sundays. I know that Mr. Ashton and others have attempted to educate and get compliance from developers. And as soon as they do that, the subs seem to come out and want to pick up days and work on these hours. And it's
Hey, well, it's Tracy.
From the
So
construction vehicles, I think for most
let me call you back.
Hammering on a Sunday when you want to relax is not fun either. But the backup beepers, and with the wind coming from the north into the town, I mean, it carries for really up to a mile and more. And, starting at 7 a.m. on a Sunday or on a holiday when it's otherwise prohibited. And it just doesn't seem to have been able to get fixed. And I would like just to know when those hours are when I can and should expect peace and quiet. Because right now, there's, I think, noise fatigue. It's not just me, run into people that it also it bothers, but it's something I would hope that the city, through the police department, or building department, and the council can get a grip on. And if there's rules that I'm not aware of, as I read the city ordinance and talk to both the past city manager and to the building official, Mr. Ashton, I'd like to know what they are, but I just hope we could curtail some of the violations. And with that, I thank you very much for the time.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Tracy, do we have anybody else wishing to speak in public comment?
I don't see anybody, no.
Okay, then we'll move on to the consent calendar. Kathleen, are you going to take this?
Sure, thank you. Following, the first item is the minutes from the previous meeting of November 3rd. Our second item is a resolution of the city council approving budget adjustments for fiscal year 2021, essentially carrying over open purchase orders from the last fiscal year to this fiscal year, totaling approximately $167,000. Our third item is a
Okay, so
resolution,
when I took myself off as an
approving budget adjustments for
administrator,
this fiscal
my
year,
meeting's gonna end in
based
6
on
minutes.
reallocation of costs.
What do I
Results
do?
in a net decrease in the general fund of approximately
Oh
20,000
my
and an
God.
increase in both the water and sewer fund of approximately
I don't
35,000 and 30,000 respectively, which can be absorbed by
Oh, I'm gonna make
anticipated
Ashley the
revenues.
host.
The
See if
fourth
that'll
item
work.
is a proposed amendment to our animal services fiscal year 2021 agreement, including a slight increase in costs due to some internal cost adjustments on the county's part.
I don't,
And
this
then
could be just
finally,
really
we have a
bad.
resolution for the city council to consider, which would authorize the city to access both state and federal level criminal history as part of the backgrounding process for employment, licensing, or any
No,
certifications that we might issue.
Okay, thank you. If there's no concerns or questions.
Okay,
from
well, I'm gonna try and,
council,
okay,
entertain
Ashley's the
motion
co-host,
on
so
consent
hopefully it will pick it up.
I'll move
Okay,
to
thanks.
approve the item.
calendar. Okay. We have- Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lauren and a second by Councilmember New. Tracy, can we do a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Anderson?
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren?
Aye.
Councilmember New?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi?
Aye.
Mayor Callen?
Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. All right, we don't have any presentations tonight, and our first discussion item was dropped for a later date. So we'll move on to item number 2, which is approval of COVID-19 rental and mortgage assistance grant program application. Shelley, are you taking the lead on this?
I believe I am.
Okay.
So good evening, Mayor and City Council. Before you is an application that I put together for the rental and mortgage assistance grant program. As you're aware, the City of Winters received a $200,000 subrecipient agreement from Yolo County for CARES Act funding. And as part of that agreement, we wanted to provide some assistance to some businesses in the City of Winters that did not receive funding through the small business grant program that Yolo County itself ran. And so we decided to target rental and mortgage assistance because that's an easily identifiable item that businesses that have to be closed during a certain part of the year would be able to show that they still had expenditures from. We have a very short time frame for this because it has to be spent by December 30th, 2020. So what I did was I took Yolo County Small Business Grant application and I changed it up so that it just addressed rental and mortgage assistance. I would like to be able to move forward with this. I have a list of businesses in town to contact. We need to have applications back to us by December 7th. And then we would do the vetting and go through all of that and come up with who qualifies for the grant. And we have $40,000 currently set aside out of the $200,000 for this. I did pass this through Iris at the DPK, our city attorney, so to make sure there were no legal issues with any of the information that I was asking them to provide. So I just wanted the city council to be aware of what the application process looks like and approve us moving forward with the grant program for rent and mortgage assistance in town.
Okay, great, thank you. Is there any questions from council?
Yeah, the mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Shelley. I'm glad that we're moving forward with this, hopefully. But getting that money from the county will be available to help some of our businesses couple questions on some things that we talked about before setting this up. We had talked about potentially including help for utility payments, could be water, whatever. Is that included in this under rent and mortgage assistance?
It is not, because as we talked it through with other people, and we talked about ideas of what to use it for, being able to show us your lease agreement and being able to show us when you were closed seemed much easier than tracking down water bills and things. So what we're requiring that they provide us with is a copy of their lease or mortgage agreement, and then checks showing that they made those payments during the time that they were shut down. So it should be a real easy thing for them to provide us documentation for. Sometimes the water bills and the electrical bills are a little harder to keep track of. So and with a limited amount of funding, we felt that if we targeted the rent and the mortgage assistance, then we would be able to get those funds out relatively quickly.
And do we have any kind of a maximum set up per applicant on what they can apply for?
We have not. We needed to see what the response is going to be so that we can determine how much we can give to each entity that applies. And until we know who's interested and who isn't, and who can provide the documentation, we didn't want to necessarily set a specific rate.
Shelley, I'm sorry, you all, and I hate to interrupt like this, but I've just been informed that because we did not come through the administrative process for the Zoom meeting, it appears that this meeting will automatically shut down within the 45 minutes of Zoom.
Oh. Okay, so Zoom.
was fun.
Okay, that's the last time I go camping before a council meeting. I'm so sorry, everybody.
You just gotta get Ashley trained.
Well, she's listening in, so I kind of hope she wasn't listening tonight.
Well,
Now, Tracy, can you put this out for the people that were joining us from the public? That
Yes,
you want to try to reconnect? Is there some way to?
I wasn't sure who Ricky is.
Rick Van Gelder.
Okay. I'll give it a try. And I included Mr. Lagatuda and Mr. Casabecchia. I don't think there were any others that I can recall.
The police chief was on.
Oh, I got all the staff.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, so just Mr. Von Geldern. Okay.
I think Bill Lagatuda was on.
And he's back on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I glanced.
We got 11 of the 19. I think we had 19 before. We had 11. Do we have Pierre and Harold back?
No, not yet.
I just forwarded it to Shelley. And I took a screenshot of everybody who was on before we dropped.
Oh, and Tina. Okay.
Was Tina on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back into that same meeting idea and looked, and she was on there.
So we have, let me see, we got the chief, yep.
Tina. Rick.
Did Ashley come back on? No. Let me forward it to Ashley.
Is the link that you sent us the same link for the public?
Well, it's a new link.
I mean, but it's one new link.
Yes.
It's a new link and we're trying to get everybody who was on at the time.
Yeah, we got Harold back.
I sent a note to Tina.
Does anybody, can they give me Rick Van Geldorn's email?
I think I have an email from him about construction noise, so let me look it up.
At least one.
I have one, I have several. Hold on.
His number's on there, his cell.
Yes, it is, let me call him right now.
Thank you.
I just got a note that some of the people moved to YouTube.
Oh,
Are we
okay.
on YouTube as well?
We are.
Okay. I got that from the chamber director.
Oh, Sue, okay.
Yeah, 'cause she was on there. Was Kate Laddish on?
I didn't see Kate.
Wouldn't be a city council meeting.
I
without Kate.
know. I didn't see her though.
She's in another meeting tonight.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're just waiting for Pierre.
Okay. See if we can get Pierre back here.
Yeah.
and he's getting back on.
Okay.
Have reached 530-304-5076. Please leave a message and I will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Pierre, this is Tracy. My apologies for this big hiccup. I did forward you the link in your email, so if you're having trouble getting on, go to your email and you should be able to click on the link for the continuation of council meeting. Okay, thank you.
I think Pierre's house is a dead zone. He always
there he
has
is.
trouble.
There he is. Pierre.
Yes. There he is.
Yay, Pierre.
Welcome
All
back.
right, I think we got most everybody back, so. Okay, need to work on that whole Zoom connection thing a little bit here. That's the first time.
I'm sorry.
All right, where were we? I think we were in the middle of council questions and stuff on the COVID-19 rental and mortgage assistance grant program. So I don't know exactly where we left off. I know Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi had asked a question, and where are we going from there?
Billy was addressing the question. Did you have more for that one, Shelley?
I don't think so.
I have another question for you.
Okay.
So what are we doing to get the word out to let businesses know that this is going
So I have gone through and made a list of businesses with phone numbers. And after the meeting tonight, Kathleen and I were going to start by splitting up those businesses and calling them directly to see if they were interested. And if they will, then we will drop off applications to those businesses. I believe I have about 15 that were not helped through the small business grant for the county. And so I was looking at the small locally owned businesses. So I didn't include like the big more corporate owned businesses in the list. Because they tend to have more backing than the locally owned small business person. And I do have the list, but I didn't want to talk about it until we contacted them because I didn't want to make any assumptions. Some people may not wish to be on the list. And so until we've actually talked with them, I didn't really want to give you the whole list of everybody.
Okay, great, thank you. That was my only question as well, was I wanted to make sure we had some method of making sure we get the word out to those people that may not be tuned into a meeting or see a note in the paper. And we discussed that earlier when we talked about the distribution of this money and trying to get it into some of those, smaller businesses here in town. So I think it's great you guys are going to personally call them and ask them. I think that's fantastic. Thank you for doing that. Jesse, did you have a question?
Yeah, part suggestion. I'm not sure if there are primary Spanish speakers on that list, but if there are, maybe Deanna Tafoya can help, but I'm not sure that they would be open to a long conversation about finances if it's not in their primary language. So just wanted to, put that out there to get some help for the bilingual folks that are primary Spanish speakers.
We have a city manager who speaks Spanish, right?
I was gonna say, hopefully Kathleen can handle those.
Well, I'm not so sure I would be nuanced enough to have that conversation in a more delicate fashion, but I do think we can coordinate with the Hispanic Advisory Committee to try and solicit some assistance with that outreach.
That would be fantastic. We'd be happy to do that.
Okay, anybody else? Is there any public comment on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I just had a question.
Yes.
Is it possible also to post information on the city website about the program? And we can do it.
Absolutely, we can do that. We can post information and go ahead and put the application on the website. And maybe even post it to our Facebook pages. We have a Facebook page for Police Fire and the city, so we can put it on there to do some additional outreach as well.
That would be great. Okay, and you need us to approve this application, correct?
Correct.
Okay, if there's no other public comment or council questions, then we would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I move that the city council approve the rental mortgage assistance grant application.
Okay. All right, we got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi and a second by Councilmember New. Tracy, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Councilmember Anderson?
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren?
Aye.
Councilmember New?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi?
Aye.
Mayor Cowan?
Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much for everybody for sticking with us here with our glitches. Okay, we're going to move on to the last item of the night, which is our city manager report from our new city manager, Kathleen Treppa.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate everybody's support, including through the hiccups and hitches that come with the transition. I've had a really, really warm welcome from everybody, and I appreciate everybody's support. I too have had a number of meetings, and I still have many more meetings to connect with people in the community. But last week I met with the Downtown Business Association, the Chamber of Commerce. I met with Supervisor Saylor and his staff, the Winners Rotary, the Food Creek Committee, a number of people around town have reached out to me, and I have a series of meetings that have been scheduled into the next few weeks as I try to get to know people in the community. So I appreciate everybody's support, reaching out, and patience as I get up to speed. In terms of updates, so as several of the council members mentioned, there was a meeting on Main Street last week that talked about how we might facilitate the outdoor dining during the winter months. And we're working on ordering some outdoor shelters and getting those and getting some heat sources there to make it more comfortable for people to eat outside, which is particularly important since we're now in the purple tier and it's only outdoor dining. We are talking about installing temporary barricades. There are seat walls that match the existing seat walls that are at the bulb outs, and that would allow us to restore the two-way circulation on Main Street during the week and then close it off on the weekends. And so we'll bring something back to the city council and present that information so that the community has an opportunity to hear what we're talking about doing to facilitate the outdoor dining during the winter months as part of living in this pandemic environment. And along those lines, I'd like to do a shout out for all of our businesses and restaurants, and particularly those restaurants that are now only outdoor dining. Everything that we can do to help protect ourselves, mask up, stay safe, will allow us to come back into a red tier more quickly and as soon as possible, and come to the degree that we can all help contribute by supporting our businesses is, obviously appreciated from everybody. So. I think, we're also related to the purple tier. As you all know, we moved into the purple tier. The state moved us into the purple tier today. We are looking internally at our own city operations in terms of creating more space for staff and creating opportunities for staff to spread out. So rotating schedules, the opportunity for some people to be able to work remotely at least for part of the week. And we're looking at ways to allow the public to do more online work and to engage with us in a remote capacity, which will give us all more social distancing and some more space, and it'll help protect and minimize risk for our employees, but also for the general public as they interact with city or city businesses. So we'll have more information as we pull those plans together, and we'll be sure to communicate those out to the public and to the city council. And that's it for me, unless there are any questions.
Any questions?
No.
Okay.
I would like to make a comment before you close.
Go ahead.
I would just like to say a special thank you to our interim city manager, Shelley.
Give her some, please.
I would say, Shelley, you did a fabulous job stepping in as the interim city manager. Mayor and I worked with you a lot on various issues, and I'm really proud of the way you stepped up and addressed all the issues that came up. You learned a lot of things in a very short time, and you did a great job, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Get yourself a piece of cake. We can't all have one.
Shelley has been wonderfully supportive and has been a wealth of information. The entire management team and the employees have been really, really very supportive. But Shelley has been a huge partner as part of this transition and deserves all the accolades and kudos that she receives.
Absolutely.
Good job, Shelley.
Yes.
Thank you,
And
Shelley.
on that positive note, we'll close the meeting at 7:17 p.m. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Ah.